Good morning and welcome to the County of Berks Commissioners Board meeting for December 2nd, 2021. Please rise for a moment of silence followed by a pledge to our flag. Once again, good morning and welcome. We are joined remotely by Commissioner Leinbach, our chair. So we do have the three members here as well as Commissioner Rivera at the end of the table. So moving forward, we'd like to move into our agenda with our weekly COVID-19 data report from Brian Gottschall, our Director of Emergency Services with the county. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner. Did you want to read the public comment section first?
No, I was going to wait until after your presentation.
Okay, not a problem. I just didn't want to step
on the meeting. I'll get to that. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, just didn't want to step on the screen sharing of the public comment slide. Okay, I think IT has mine up now, correct? Okay. Just a point of interest, this is our 70th week of presenting this data report. I took a look back at that as I was getting it ready, as it seems to become part of our permanent life. Taking a look at our cases and testing, we need to focus in on the right-hand part of the slide and share some information that actually came to light last week when we didn't have a public presentation of this data due to the Thanksgiving holiday. And what happened is there were some big adjustments that were made about cases by Department of Health and how it was reported. We've now become compliant with the national standard that reports a second positive test of COVID 90 days after the first positive test, which caused this dramatic increase in our in our exhibit 2 weeks ago. And what that has caused is kind of a 14-day period of time where we really didn't understand what our quote-unquote new normal was with respect to cases. But we've now rolled those out over the last 14 days, and where our case count is showing now is representative of where it looks as though we will be for the time period. Or for the time being, I'm sorry, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 200 reported cases a day. Approximately 60 to 90 cases a day more than what was being reported prior to the inclusion of these second infection numbers. So I just wanted to take a moment there and explain why the chart looks a lot different. Another slide that we began incorporating last week, which the public is only seeing for the first time this week, is kind of the national overview from CDC of where counties are with respect to case rate. And this week actually shows some pretty good news, which I circled in red there on the right-hand side of the slide. We see that a fairly significant number of counties, particularly in the South, have dropped into the low community transmission. Unfortunately, that hasn't benefited us here in the northeastern United States. We've remained optimistic for the last few weeks that we would start to see that change in community transmission, but the Omicron variant, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and I'm sure everyone has heard about already, is likely going to mean that that's not going to be the case, but still much to be seen. Our pediatric cases in the county are kind of hovering around where they have been. Clearly, the graphic shows an increase in the last week, but again, as far as more of a rolling average number over a number of weeks, we're pretty much in the same place we have been, in that 5 to 18-year-old range that is going up and down, and the 0 to 4 remains very level where it is, with approximately 50 cases over that period. Our hospitals are becoming more busy. Not surprising. We know that there's a seasonal aspect to the disease, and we expected to see this rising as we moved into the winter. Just to reemphasize for folks again, our big concern here is not only COVID, but COVID with influenza on top of that, as this will be the first influenza season that we're really experiencing with COVID, as last year was much of a wash due to the fact that there was almost no influenza due to the COVID mitigation measures. Our deaths have unfortunately just become a recurring theme that there's not even a whole lot interesting to talk about. They just continue to climb and climb and climb week over week. We would love to get back to where we were over the summertime period where we saw this very flat curve, but that doesn't appear to be anywhere in our near future. Much like cases a couple weeks ago, vaccines have had a significant change in the last week. CDC issued a major correction on vaccine statistics for a number of states, Pennsylvania included, and Berks County, like all other counties in the state, was part of that. Really what it did, and CDC called this a data correction. There was a fairly informative article published in the New York Times about this that explained what was going on, but it had to do with a data cleanup at CDC where they were overstating numbers due to methodologies of reporting, and they had statisticians go back and clean the numbers up. And it really took us back as far as the number of full vaccinations administered in Berks County, took us back to our first week of August numbers, as though effectively no progress was made between then and now. Now, the reality is we don't know when the erroneous statistics got into the numbers, so I don't think it's as simple as saying nothing happened since August 1st. Clearly, that's not true. But from a data perspective, our numbers are back where they were in that first week of August. This also leads us to be unable to project our real percentages with consideration to the one-dosers, because all of that data is calculated based on a longer-term evaluation of the data. So we basically have to wait for 5 weeks until we have clean data that we can again use to reevaluate those numbers. As we have for the last couple weeks, taking a look at the influenza graphic, we saw an interesting drop downward a couple weeks ago that looked like at least one data point of good news. Unfortunately, that is now right back up where it was previously, as cases that were not yet factored into the numbers ultimately got factored in. And again, on this chart, we're going to focus on the left-hand side. The red line with the circles are our influenza cases this year, and you can see that we're starting very early. Now, I want to point out that starting early doesn't necessarily mean things are going to be really bad. It could just shift the graphic to the left. But I will point out that we're on an upward rise much earlier in the season than we generally have been. The only other example of this is the 2019-2020 year, which is the gray line, which the red line is almost following. So, we want to see that number stay very shallow or as flat as possible, keeping the cases on a weekly basis down near zero, helping our healthcare facilities to not be overwhelmed by that combination of COVID and influenza at the same time. We don't have anything to show for the Berks Cares Clinic due to the Thanksgiving holiday and the fact that that clinic is operating on a Wednesday through Saturday. They did not administer vaccine last week, so those numbers are zero. Our CDC vaccine recommendations remain unchanged by age group with respect to what is available, but we do have some new information on who should or may get the vaccine. And this slide has finally gotten simple after CDC has now made their recommendations much more simple. And the answer for boosters is if you are under 18, there are not boosters currently available. And if you're over 18, finally we're at a point where the recommendation from CDC is consistent among all age groups, all vaccines, all people. If you are over 18, it is recommended that you should have your vaccine boosted 2 months after Janssen or 6 months after Pfizer and Moderna. Just quickly, some current events or items on the horizon. The Merck antiviral drug, Molnupiravir, has been reviewed by the FDA. Is being reviewed by the FDA with anticipated approval this week. 2 days ago, I believe it was, or yesterday. I apologize if I don't recall which. The FDA advisory panel recommended approval to the FDA, but that is an independent advisory panel. It is not the FDA approval, and we would anticipate that this drug will be reviewed and approved sometime this week yet. Just a couple things to point out that the advisory panel did narrowly recommend the approval, and this is some interesting reading if folks care about this kind of stuff and have an interest in these breaking technologies and treatments, there appears to be a lot of concern about this drug and the way that it works and its ability to alter the genome of the actual virus and potentially drive other mutations of the virus. So I believe that they're trying to balance the benefit that it may bring for those who have COVID and are attempting to avoid significant illness against the public health impacts of the use of the drug. So I'm certainly not a public health expert, but as I said, it is some interesting reading for those who are inclined to go and pursue that. The similar antiviral by Pfizer is still under review and evaluation, and I say similar, although I'll point out it works in a different way and doesn't bring that concern that the Merck drug is bringing among some people. So more still to learn about the Pfizer antiviral. I guess the big news over the last few days to a week is the COVID variant B11529, which we all now know is called Omicron. A lot of very concerning reports about transmissibility here early on. Although on the good news side, it sounds as though the information that we're getting out of South Africa, where the most is being seen about this illness, is that the severity of the illness of those who are infected is not dramatic. So it appears as though it spreads very easily, but those who get the disease don't become terribly ill in general. Of course, there are always exceptions to those rules in all directions. I do want to mention, though, that we can't lose sight of why transmissibility is important, even if severity of illness remains low. And that is very simply, where did Omicron come from? It came from people who were getting prior variations of the illness. And every time COVID is infecting someone, in essence, the person becomes a petri dish within which the virus can again mutate. So, I've even had discussions with my friends and family members who say, well, this looks like it's no big deal. Okay, there's more of a chance I'm going to get the illness, but I'm not more likely to get sick or die. And there is still reason to be concerned. Granted, on an individual level, we're all very concerned about, getting sick or dying, but on a larger community or global scale, we do need to continue to be concerned just about people getting the disease. And we hope to know more about the efficacy of the vaccines and how they impact this new variation of the illness within the next 7 to 10 days. I also just want to mention that there is a public health or a public testing opportunity here in Berks County in cooperation between the county along with the Pennsylvania State Department of Health and their contractor. That is actually being conducted here at our operation at 2561 Burnville Road as a drive-through opportunity on Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, and Saturdays from 9 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that testing opportunity will continue through December 11th. Just a quick overview of your best access when you're on 183 outside of our facility. If you go down Van Reed Road and follow that red arrow and go into the parking lot where the red arrow shows, that's your best approach. There is signage all around, both lighted signboards as well as static, just kind of signs, not cardboard, but you get the gist. A paper sign that is available all around the intersections around here that help to direct people in. I don't think folks will have any problem finding it once they get in the area here of 183 and 222. And to wrap it up, just kind of a commercial for our doyourpartberks.com website, where you can find a lot of information about COVID as well as vaccine, and also testing information inclusive of the one we just talked about, as well as other testing opportunities here in Berks County. That's all I have, Commissioner. Back to you.
Thank you, Brian, for the update, and especially the current events slide. It's very important for us to stay updated as we move forward. Any questions or comments for Brian Gottschall? Okay, very good. Thank you, Brian. And stay in here for the agenda question. Approval of the minutes of the November 18, 2021 Commissioners Meeting minutes. There are no objections or corrections. The minutes will stand approved as presented. Hearing none, the minutes are approved. We had 2 executive sessions, one on November 30th for contract negotiations, personnel and litigation, and then on December 1st with personnel and litigation. Under public comment on agenda items, I'm aware that we do have one on Microsoft Teams. Jessica Blauser, would you please read the question?
John Archer, Spring Township, agenda item 421, 2021B, What exactly is the County of Berks public radio system and what services does it provide to the public?
And with that, we'll turn it over to Brian Gottschall for his explanation of the public radio system. Brian?
Thanks, Commissioner. Yes, Mr. Archer and the public in general. So the County of Berks Public Safety Radio System is the radio communication system that all of our emergency responders in Berks County, police, fire, EMS, emergency management, as well as all of our county agencies like the jail and probation and the sheriff, as well as the city of Reading, public works agencies operate on. So this was a significant investment that the county made back beginning in 2012 to upgrade our technology that was at that time dating in some cases back into the early 80s with respect to the hardware, in order to improve coverage, improve capacity for all of those entities around the county. So I guess in direct answer to your question, it doesn't directly provide any services to the public because nobody in the public actually uses it, but it is used by all of our emergency responders who clearly provide their services to the general public. So I hope that fully answers the question.
Thank you, Brian. And John Archer, if you have any follow-up questions, we can certainly handle those after the meeting. Any other questions on the agenda, Jesse? Okay, thank you. Under the agenda, we have Budget Department item A. We will have a modification to that. It's listed as budget transfers in the amount of $125,959 and 2021 appropriations in the amount of $471,536 per listing dated November 24th, 2021. But we do have a $7,000 adjustment. Madam Solicitor.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Barnhart. I'm requesting that the board do an amendment for this. This is permitted under the Sunshine Law. We need to increase the budget transfer amount to an additional $7,000. This is so the jail can purchase additional styrofoam containers that they're utilizing at the facility versus using the normal trays. And this is to, of course, try to keep any outbreak of COVID from occurring from reutilizing non-disposable food preparation and serving items. So there was a price change. They had gotten original price for purchasing the styrofoam containers. And unfortunately, when they went to place the order, due to the volatility of the product, of paper supplies, there was an increase of $7,000. So that is a permitted amendment under the Sunshine Law because this is a life safety issue for the inmates at the jail.
So does this fall under transfers and appropriations?
It's an amendment, correct?
It's an amendment, correct?
It's an amendment to the resolution under budget transfer. So I think at this time it's appropriate to approve the amendment instead of waiting till the end because we're going to approve.
I'll make a motion to amend that item with the correct amount added.
Be $132,959.
Correct.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments on that? All those in favor, consent by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Solicitor. Okay, moving on to human resources. We have several items dated December 2nd of 2021. One is authorized promotion of Caitlin Rentschler from senior financial analyst to lead senior financial analyst in the Budget and Finance Department. Item 2 is authorized the promotion of Nathan Castro from telecommunicator to training quality assurance officer, Department of Emergency Services. Item 3, authorized the promotion of Heather Berger from application specialist trainer to application support manager in the information systems. Item 4, authorized the promotion of Shelley O'Neill from business process analyst to development services manager in the IS department. Item 5, authorize a salary adjustment for Kevin Rentz, senior financial analyst, budget and finance department. Moving to purchasing, item A, adopt the resolution authorizing the award and the Director of Contracts and Procurements to execute a one-year contract as a result of an invitation to bid for scrap metal recycling hauling for the Berks County as follows. BFI Waste Services, doing business as Allied Waste Services of Schuylkill County Republic Services, Orchard Lane, Leesport, annual expenditure of $2,807.96. Item B, adopt the resolution authorizing the award and the Director of Contracts and Procurements to execute a five-year one contract as a result of an invitation to bid for site maintenance and repair of the Berks County Public Radio System to Penn Delmar Power LLC of Nottingham Drive, Nottingham, PA. Estimated cost, tab 1, annual preventive maintenance work, $219,210.10. Tab 2B, maintenance services non-annual, $68,403. Tab 3, emergency response and troubleshooting, $108,550. Projected annual cost, grand total with a 3% escalator max. Estimated one-year total for 2022, $396,163.10. Total for 2023, $337,592.93. Year 2024, $409,305.72. 2025, $540,606.34. And 2026, $431,712.91. Item C is adopt the resolution authorizing the award and Director of Contracts and Procurements to execute a contract as a result for invitation to bid fire extinguisher services rebid for a period of 1 year for the participating members of the Berks County Cooperative Purchasing Board, of which the County of Berks is a member as identified herein, to Antino Fire Protection, Friedensburg Road, Reading, PA. Total annual expenditure, $130,274.50. Estimated annual expenditure, COB, County of Berks portion is $15,845.75. The county reserves the option to extend the contract for 4 additional one-year periods with the consent of the vendor. Under Commissioner Rivera, he's been busy. He has adopted a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Sandy Graffius to the Berks County Area Agency on Aging for a 2-year term expiring December 31st, 2023. Authorize the reappointment of Linda Groff to the Berks County Area Agency on Aging for the same term. Adopt the reappointment of Melissa D'Amata, Berks County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st, 2024. Resolution authorizing the reappointment of Rafaela Lopez, Berks County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st, 2024. Adopt the resolution authorizing the reappointment of Winton S. Butler to the Council on Chemical Abuse Board of Directors for a 3-year term expiring on February 1st, 2025. Adopt the resolution authorizing the reappointment of Crystal Dabrowski of Reading to the Berks County MHDD Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2024. Adopting a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Sherry Cameron of Mooresville to Berks County Children and Youth Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring December 31st, 2024. Under the Commissioners, item A, adopt the resolution authorizing the reappointment of Jason Bruderick, Sinking Spring, to the Berks County Public Libraries Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring December 1st, 2024. Item B, adopt the resolution authorizing execution of Amendment Number 1 for PCCD grant, enhancing services to Berks County victims, moving savings from year 1 to year 2 and 3 of the grant. Item C, adopt the resolution authorizing the execution of the estoppel certificate for the County of Berks to CHR Consulting Services, Inc. and Complete Health Resources, Eastern, Inc., confirming that the management service agreement between the County of Berks and Complete Healthcare Services for the furnishing of management service to the Berks time is valid, binding, and in full force and effect, and consenting to the assignment of the agreement from Complete Health Resources, Eastern, Inc. to CHR Consulting Services, Inc. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program funds as an entitlement county under the Department of Housing and Urban Development regulations and is eligible for funding under the Section 108 Loan Guarantee Program. The County of Berks wishes to use $1,100,000 from the Section 108 Loan Guarantee Program for the purpose of financing activities of the Redevelopment Authority and the Berks County Nonprofit Development Corporation. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of a certification statement and an attestation statement for Human Services Block Grant Income and Expenditure Report for fiscal year 2020 and 2021. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing Kevin Barnhart as Vice Chair to execute the project request form for Benefit Express to generate and mail the 1095C forms and e-file the forms 1094 and 1095S to the IRS for 2021 on behalf of the County of Berks. Fees are $3.59 for each form to be printed and mailed. An additional fee of $3 per form is paid for the IRS e-file. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing Kevin Barnhart as Vice Chair to execute settlement agreement and release between County of Berks, Pennsylvania and Bosada, doing business as CertaPro Painters of Lancaster, to resolve, dispute, and settle any outstanding claims. Item H, adopt a resolution authorizing Kevin Barnhart as Vice Chair to execute agreement by the County of Berks and the Redevelopment Authority of the County of Berks, whereas the authority will assist the IUOE Local 542 JATC with funding and other assistance for the indoor equipment training project. Under item 2, motion to authorize execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on attached listing dated November 29, 2021. We have 16 contracts, 2 with the Area Agency on Aging, 1 with Children and Youth Services, 1 with Berksheim, 4 with Court Administration, 1 with the Department of Emergency Services, 1 with the District Justices, 3 with the Human Resources Department, 1 with MDC 23-2-03, which is MDJ Fegley, and 2 with Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities. Item 3, to authorize execution of the payments and electronic transfers as set forth on Controller's Office voucher listing dated December 2nd, 2021. And item 4, motion to authorize execution of employee payroll disbursements dated December 7th, 2021. That concludes our agenda as presented.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion and a
I'll
second.
second that.
And a second by Commissioner Rivera. Any other questions or comments?
And by Commissioner Linebaugh.
Yeah, Linebaugh.
All those in favor, consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, we're going to be moving to the report of the Treasurer and the Controller. A. Dennis Adams, County Treasurer, for your report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We had an opening balance today of $174,329,154.81. A balance declare of $2,636,005.05, leaving us with a balance today of $802,949.89, 56 cents. Printing's awful tiny today.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. We'll move to Sandy Graffius, our County Controller.
Because of our Thanksgiving celebration.
Pick up your volume a little bit, Sandy.
Is that better?
Go ahead.
Okay, our report for the 24th of November, we had a total accounts payable of $10,391,102.94. We had a combined payroll, $4,493,975.97. Our grand total of $14,885,078.91.
Thank you.
People don't have problems hearing me.
Well, we thought maybe you were taking a flight on Bezos' spaceship. Thank you, Sandy.
Then wait, I have another one because we had 2 weeks.
Proceed.
December the 2nd. We had total accounts payable of $4,113,604.72, and there was no payroll. Now I'm finished. I can go for my flight.
I know you're never finished, but that concludes your report. Report of Chief Administrative Officer Ronald R. Seaman. You're on deck.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Barnhart. I'd just like to mention that this weekend, the Berks County Park and Recreation Department will kick off their annual holiday lights display at the Grings Mill Recreation Area. You can walk the grounds and view the light display that highlights the historic buildings and landscaping around the park. The hours of operation of the holiday lights are 6 to 9 p.m. nightly, Fridays through Sundays through December 19th, and then December 20th through 23rd, and December 26th through the 30th. This weekend, on Friday night, December the 3rd, Wendy Thompson, a harpist, will be providing the entertainment. There'll be a strolling Santa, and there will be food trucks available each evening. The 3rd, it'll be food provided by Mad J's Barbecue and Beansy's Cafe. On Saturday the 4th, Wendy Thompson will be providing, again, harpist music, entertainment. There'll be a strolling Bellsnickel and food by the Nacho Depot and Beansy's Cafe. And Sunday the 5th, we'll have a strolling Santa with food by Mad J's Barbecue and Beansy's Cafe. There'll be a fire pit. Model train display will be in operation. And if you need more information, you can see the countyofberks.com parks webpage on the county site, or go to the County Parks and Recreation Facebook page. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Seaman. We will now move to Commissioner's comments. Commissioner Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Barnhart. I just have some brief comments today. First of all, I want to congratulate Parole Officer Daniel, hopefully I'll say the name right, Height, to succeed Bob Williams as the Berks County Chief Probation and Parole Officer. Bob is retiring in January, so I also want to thank him for his many years of service here at the county and in the probation office. So congratulations, Daniel, and Bob, thank you very much for your service here to the county. Also, just wanted to give a brief update on the Ccap conference, fall conference that all three of us attended last week, as well as Christine Sadler, our solicitor. And Ccap is the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania. And a few things there that happened was the conference set the 2022 legislative priorities for Ccap. And it doesn't mean that this is the only thing that they're going to focus on for the next year, but it's the things that the body, the commissioners present there, decided should be the priorities for the Ccap staff to focus on for 2022. That list is out. I do not have it in front of me now to share it, but that is out and will be shared shortly. The other thing also is I am part of the Community and Economic Development Committee, and we also met and set the priorities for 2022, and among them were workforce development, which is a huge issue, not only for Berks County, but for the state and around the nation as well. Being able to have qualified workforce to meet the jobs that we have here. And the other was making sure that we make the best use of the infrastructure funding as well that is becoming available either through the bill and through the ARP dollars as well. So it was a great conference. I was able to participate in the board meeting as well, since I will be starting as the second VP in January. So it's a great experience to be there this fall at Hershey. That's all I have. Commissioner Barnhart, back to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Linebaugh.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Barnhart and Commissioner Rivera. Actually, outside of Atlanta, at DeKalb County, Georgia, in Decatur for our NACO fall board meeting. And I'll be here until Saturday around noon when I head back. Just a couple things I wanted to touch on. I also want to wish the best to Bob Williams. Bob's done a great job here for the county, APO, JPO leader most recently. And it's going to be tough. Bob and I share a birthday, March 1st. And I won't say which one of us is older, but we always give each other birthday wishes on March the 1st. Hopefully we can continue to keep that contact. And I also want to wish Dan Height the best. I think Dan's a great choice, not only because he plays softball, but because he's done a great job there with APO, JPO. But just want to note that. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on is some key takeaways from the Ccap Fall Conference. And I'm not going to go over all the things. I just want to touch about 4 items. One, I wanted to note that in the latter part of January, I think it's the 27th or 28th, we are going to be having a Ccap leadership discussion with the Pennsylvania Department of State talking about election reform. We absolutely need election reform. There are a lot of issues that could be addressed. There are 2 big ones. Many of you remember that at the beginning of this year, Ccap said our number 1 objective here is election reform, and specifically 2 things. Pre-canvassing several days before the election would save counties time, save the money, and guarantee that we have election results more quickly. The second thing we wanted done was to move back the deadline to apply for an absentee ballot from 7 days, which just doesn't allow for the appropriate back and forth with mail-in ballot, using the mail, to 14 days out. Neither one of these items were accomplished. No election reform occurred. And I want to note the Senate leadership has been in regular communication with the County Commissioners Association. The House leadership has refused to talk to us. I have spoken personally with State Representative Donna Oberlander. She understands that. She's a former commissioner from Clarion County. She supports having communication with Ccap, but the leadership overall so far has refused to talk to us. And that's really unfortunate, because it's counties that are the ones that are obligated under the law to run elections, and any reforms that the House or the Senate or the governor sign, in the end, we have to implement them. And it makes a lot of sense they should be talking to us before they put new laws in place or reform existing laws. So that is a big issue, and it looks like it's going to continue into 2022. Just a note, in our county governance committee, we had a discussion about some work that Bradford County is doing. They're building redundant fiber between all of their radio towers, and is designed primarily for the radio system. So the radio towers are all connected by fiber, but it's robust enough that it could be utilized to provide broadband access for the public in the future. Additionally, just going down my list here, of I sat in a session on cybersecurity. One of the things that was noted, cyber insurance is getting harder to get. The top 2 actions they're calling on counties to look at are encryption and multi-authentication. But it's because of the number of cyber attacks throughout the world, and especially here in the country on government entities, is simply getting very difficult to secure cybersecurity insurance. It is still available through P Corp, but again, there's some challenges. I won't go into all the details. The best workshop I sat in was a hiring workshop One of the presenters was Tiffany Bloyer. She's the HR director from Franklin County. I've already shared a lot of these key points with our HR director, but some very thoughtful and valuable insight on some things that we can do differently as we look to fill some very serious hiring needs in our county and counties really across the country. The last item was a report from Mark Rataco. Mark is head of legislative affairs for the National Association of Counties. He talked quite a bit about the infrastructure bill, but specifically noted that there is $65 billion set aside for new broadband, highlighted a number of different areas within that. He also noted that the infrastructure bill, and I'd like us to look at this, includes permit streamlining for the NEPA process and other areas. If that's true, that could impact bridge permitting. Often it takes longer to go through the permit process to get the approval to build a new bridge or do a major rehab of a bridge than it actually takes to construct the bridge. So that's something I've noted. Want to definitely take a close look at that. So that's all that I have. Thank you, Commissioner Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Linebaugh and Commissioner Rivera. I too want to commend Bob Williams for his decades of service to the county, as well as Dan Height assuming his position in early January. It's a great transition from one phenomenal APO, JPO director to what we certainly will know will be a very, very adequate and very, very enthusiastic replacement. I've had many meetings with Dan and Bob, and they get it when it comes to probation and the benefits derived from probation as opposed to incarceration. So last but not least, we have 2 meetings left for this year, official public meetings. Next Thursday, the 9th, the one I want to highlight is our final meeting is Thursday, December 16th. It will be at 7 p.m. at the Muhlenberg Township Building. This will be second of our Commissioners on the Road meetings. And we also finalize the adoption of the budget for 2022 and the tax rate for 2022. So look forward to that. If you want to come out in person, that'll be great. If you want to tune in, that will be 7 p.m. On December 16th, our last meeting of the year. That is all I have. Any comments or questions from our row officers? Hearing none, thank you. We'll move to public comment. I do believe there is not public comment here in the physical building. Are there questions or comments on Microsoft Teams? Very well. Any other business to be brought before the Board of Commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Motion to adjourn. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.